I remember a moment in my life in which I felt the need to finish a task more completely before having to move on to the next task and the next one after that without any distractions. And so when someone is calling me over for lunch, I feel more anxious than ever to complete it more. And when I have to fully complete a said task, I feel more stress relieving, and also I felt the need to reward myself for having to complete it or having to complete a task. And that's where hyperactivity comes in. Um, I've had a lot of small moments in my life in which something is incomplete, but I will go right ahead and complete a task or complete a homework assignment. And if someone else wants me to do an errand, like I would always focus on something first, because it's very important to me in my own mind that homework is a lot more important than having to do an errand, right? So I guess like hyperactivity is linked to these cases, but you gotta understand that hyperactivity also links into ADHD, and it's something that I have not been diagnosed with. I have not been diagnosed with ADHD, but I know like, but I remember in sophomore year in high school, in which I've had to interact with a peer that also has like ADHD and autism. So, uh, so by the way, if you guys don't know what ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. If you don't know what the acronym is. Uh, so, so yeah, I've had a peer during my sophomore year in high school that had ADHD, and it was in a study skills class. And if you guys don't know what a study skills class is, basically it's a class where you get to complete your homework, and you also do a lot more study skills activities inside of the classroom. Um, and it was very fun. I got to complete my homework a lot in my classroom. That way, when school has ended, I'll have less time to complete on the homework that I've been working on. So it's a very very fun little class. Um, Maybe some other people may have study skills um, in order to like complete like all their homework in full, and it's not that bad of a class. I've also had like the same type of class in my junior year of high school, and then like after junior year, I felt like the need to. Uh, I felt that I do not need like a study skills class, because I felt the need that I am more confident in myself to be able to complete all of it at home. And I can have choices, right? So yeah, either I complete it in the classroom or I complete it all at home, right? And so I'll tell you like a short story on like my peer that has autism and ADHD. So I don't know, I don't remember like a lot of the details because it's been so long. It's probably has been a decade at this point. Um, having to remember most of my high school memories. And yeah, so I'll talk about my peer. So I was in a study skills classroom, and I met with this peer that has autism and ADHD, and so I have initiated a conversation with him. He was very nice, and he and from his motor movements, as I was like making out a conversation, I noticed that he was rocking back and forth during a conversation, and that's totally normal. Is something that is stimming, so it's totally normal for him. And as I was making out a conversation, we talked about the weather, how things have been, a lot of other crap that that is nonsense. But as I was making out a conversation with him, he tends to look at the room like as a whole, or like looking at a fixed position. Like, say for example, like I look at the left side of the room, and his focus is like over here, and not to me. So I analyzed his face. That's what I did. And I looked at him, and he was like, oh my gosh, he isn't paying attention to the conversation. And so I snapped him out of it, and and he went on to resume the conversation. Like, in some cases, like I would totally pause the conversation from there and just let him do his own thing. But you gotta I have to pretty much snap out of what he was looking at. So yeah, that's one of the things with ADHD, is that you tend to have less social awareness of your person that is talking. And in autism, this also really affects it. So AuDHD people that have this tend to have a lot more not a lot more, but have less social awareness in conversations. As I've told you this short story about it. And also with focus, it seems that when having to make out a conversation, they get a little bit more redundant. They feel like they're tired, they're exhausted, they're bored out of the conversation. They just want to zone out. They just want to zone out of the conversation. And me just realizing that, my conversation isn't really interesting for them, and so maybe I need to think of some ways in which I can make the conversation more interesting when having a conversation with someone that has autism but also has ADHD. And in social situations, like I said, is very difficult in these cases here. It's a lot of focus. ADHD, in simple terms, is lots of focus on one fixed position. And I think without anything else, it's only fixed to that, and and it's something that they are focused on what they enjoy more. Is something that they have a tendency to feel the need to be more excited about, to feel a lot more enjoyment in this position. Like I totally get it from a lot of ADHD and autistic people, and yeah, like it is really difficult. Like social awareness is like very difficult at times, but with a lot more practice, with a lot more therapies involved. I'm saying speech pathologist therapies. This can help to improve more into having to be more aware of your social situation. So me in this instance, I need to really work on having to socialize, having to be more open and direct, having to having to make the conversations more interesting without being mundane, without having to feel more redundant. And so I'm just really working on that at this point. And right now I feel that I am much more improving as it is. So hopefully by the next couple of months, or maybe the next couple of months, I will probably be very good at having to be a good socializer. I will be a more interesting person. So, and as you know me, not everyone else knows me. Not everyone else is pretty much interested in what I do. So it's very difficult for me in these times where I love what I do, but other people around me are just not as interested as into what I do when it comes to being more creative, when it comes to being a lot more hardworking on your career jobs, or anything else. So yeah, that is Hyperactivity and Autism, and also my short story of ADHD with another peer. So yeah, hopefully I explained it very well, because I am not really a good expert when it comes to having to be more knowledgeable of ADHD. But if you know someone that has autism and ADHD, and you have any questions or comments about what I have talked about in this video, I would love it if y'all guys can share it in the comments. That way I can pretty much have a better understanding of ADHD, because I've probably met some people that have ADHD, and I want to hear it from you guys. If you have autism, ADHD, or both. So please let me know down in the comments if there's anything that I've talked about over here that also relates to in real life, that also relates to your own personal lives. So I would love to see your stories. I would love it if you can share that in the comments. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.